Welcome to today's TESPN broadcast, and we are psyched for this one. State semifinal for football, number one seeded Titans here from Trinity Episcopal, hosting the 4 seed Potomac School Panthers from McLean, Virginia. I'm joined by Silvio Troy.
Hello, hello.
I'm Rick Hamlin, and we are pumped for this one. You've got two conference champions. Potomac won the MAC. Their league come in with a 6-2 record. Titans with the first ever football prep league title, clinched a couple weeks ago up at Woodbury Forest, coming in at 9-0, trying to defend this state championship. Silvio, talk to me. You psyched as I am?
Oh yeah, I mean for sure psyched. I think this doubles as the first undefeated Titan season so far yet. I'm really expecting a good game today. I think everyone's been hyped. You know, it's the playoffs now. These are the games that matter for the state ring, and you know all the boys out there really want them. And I definitely know everyone's just been super excited for these games.
Yeah, and I mean it's win or go home at this point, and this Titan team is stocked with seniors going to college, juniors sorting through their college offers, but they want to finish the season off right, and that means winning today and then with the opportunity to host a state title game next year and go for the repeat. But Potomac is not going to make it easy. They've had a really good season, like we said, 6-2, and even their two losses were both one-possession games, very tight score, so expect a close one today. We're going to pause here for the national anthem. Out of the way, Titans going to receive the opening kickoff, which should be coming any minute now. And Titans today dressed in gray tops with white pants, green helmets. I don't know if we've seen this combo yet, the gray over white. I think it looks pretty cool. Potomac, all white. White helmets, white jerseys, white pants. And
a pretty colorful student section.
Yeah,
on different colors sports jerseys out there.
Colorful student section on Jersey Day. I'm in my Liverpool jersey, celebrating another 3 points this morning. Our executive producer Carter Tyree not in an Everton shirt today, and Silvio got his TESPN shirt, looking good. Maybe the only student not in a jersey today, Silvio, but you're keeping it professional.
Jerseys, yeah.
Producer Hagan Andrew, assistant producer Ash Bell, we're all up in the booth. Got Mr. Jones on the PA, and just cannot wait for this game. I've been excited all week to see these Titans on Aycock Stadium again, and there it is, opening kick. Fielded by Devion Brown. Didn't have the greatest footing under him. Still on his feet and finally brought down. Good coverage there by Potomac, and the Titans starting field position won't be great. Looks like their own 14-yard line. Yeah. Looked like Fat Rat never really had his feet under him on that kick return.
I think really good start for Potomac there. Judd with an amazing kick. put it really deep, hard for Davion Brown there to get any setting, as you said. I think that's a great start for Potomac defense. I think if you're on special teams for Potomac, and then that just brings all your momentum, putting Titans back to the 14. You know how dangerous Trinity can be on those kick returns. I think that's a great start for Potomac.
And Titans start off running the football. Trey Grant, and he's going to pick up 12 yards on the very first play from scrimmage. And Trey has had an incredible season, over 1,000 yards rushing in just 9 games. So I can do the math on that. Over 100 yards per game, 14 rushing touchdowns plus a receiving touchdown for Trey Grant, and he gets off to a great start on the first play of the game. It's Trey Grant again, cutting in and out of defenders. Not quite a first down this time, but looked like he picked up 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Didn't get the greatest spot, so we'll call it 8.
I want to count out for just Trey's such good running abilities and such as good O-line. He has, Carlos Moore, Cooper Gardner, big guys out there, as well as the other guys on the O-line. And definitely just helps improve Trey's ability to find the gaps like he did just there as he's going.
And he does it again, but the ball came out. It's a fumble, and Potomac recovers. And I don't believe we've seen Trey Grant put the ball on the ground all year. But he fumbles that one. Panthers recover at the 43, and if you are a Potomac fan, that's pretty much a perfect start.
Yeah, not exactly sure who caused Trey to fumble. I do know Devin Dunn, number 1 for the Panthers, recovered it, and really good recovery by them. Yeah, as you said, I don't think we've seen Trey Grant drop a ball all season, and that's exactly how the Panthers want to start a game, though.
Yeah, so this vaunted Titan defense coming in, giving up only 10.6 points per game, but they're going to be challenged early because Potomac with great field position in Titan territory. And the Panthers are going to run on the opening play. Not much yards, 2 yards for Marcel Gaskins. And I talked to a lot of the Titan players this week, and they had a lot of respect for the ability of Marcel Gaskins. He is going to be playing football at the Naval Academy next year.
I believe with
Trey Ferguson, exactly. Titan wide receiver Trey Ferguson and Marcel Gaskins, future teammates, but on opposite sides today. Midshipman, as we speak, playing the Irish of Notre Dame up in Baltimore. And this time it's going to be a pass caught by Akeem Iskandari, the freshman wide receiver, and it's a first down. He picked up 8 yards, and it was 2nd and 8, and Iskandari gets 8, and we hear pretty loud Potomac cheering section just underneath us. And if you're a Panthers fan, got to be excited about causing a turnover, and now
getting your first down.
Getting your first down of the game. The last time we were here on Senior Day against St. Christopher's, they didn't get a first down the entire first half. So good job by the Panthers, and we'll see the quarterback, Cameron Boykin, in the shotgun. Hands off to Gaskins, and he picks up 5 yards.
I do want to mention that looks like James Woodward had to sub in for Terrence Edwards there. Hopefully Terrence is all right. He's talking to our trainer over there. Not sure exactly what happened. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, that's a good spot. Silvio Deuce Edwards has had a fantastic season, and obviously you want him out there. Looks like, Coach Hall is – I'm not quite sure what he's looking at, but it's not a leg. It might be a hand. All right, 2nd and 5. Pass is incomplete, and they tried to pick on James Woodward, the sub, and Woodward defended well on Grant Joe, the intended target. Panthers fans wanted a flag there. And I do know in high school football, uncatchable is not a rule like it is in college and the NFL. So even if it was uncatchable, you can still be called for interference. But there's a little bit of contact, but I think that it's just going to be viewed as two guys coming together. So 3rd and 5, big moment here on 3rd down for this Titan defense. And it's another pass. They're going for the same part of the field, and it was actually Isaiah Robinson coming in and playing some cornerback there, and Robinson with good coverage. It's going to bring up 4th and 5.
I'd expect them to go back to the ground here. I think maybe another Gaskin run, or even to their the tight end.
Yeah, they are going to go for it. I was just curious if they would. I mean, it'd be a pretty, I guess, about a 45-yard field goal from here. Not many high school kickers have that range, so they're going to go for it on 4th and 5. Robinson's still in at corner, a position we've rarely seen him play all season, usually a wide receiver. They're going to throw, and it is incomplete. Great coverage there by Elijah Rayner. Rayner, we usually see him coming up as a run stopper or blitzing the quarterback, but Elijah with excellent coverage there. He's going to play football at William & Mary next year, and that's a big stop. You give up that good field position, and had to be a little concerned for Titan Nation, but they are able to only give up the 1 first down, and now you see that offense back on the field, and the offense moved the ball with 3 Trey Grant runs for about 30 yards, but unfortunately Grant fumbled on the 3rd of those 3. So will they give it back to him to try and rebuild his confidence?
Still haven't seen any throws yet from Tegan with connections to his wide receivers of Davion Brown, Trey Ferguson, and Isaiah Robinson.
We have a timeout, Titans. I don't think that offensive coordinator Malcolm Bell liked what he saw there, and don't love having to use a timeout on the first play of a possession. You would hope that they would have been a little more organized, but I could tell that was all Coach Bell, the OC, he just did not like the alignment. And again, first half where the clock isn't necessarily as important, I would be a lot more concerned if it was the second half to burn a timeout like that. Silvio, you mentioned the offensive line. I think you were talking about them right about the time Trey Grant fumbled, but this O-line has done a fantastic job all year of opening up holes for Grant and the running backs, as well as protecting Tegan Logan. This time Tegan Logan's going to run himself, and he fumbled, but the whistles had gone, no question about that. Tegan picked up two and a half on the carry. I couldn't tell if that was a design quarterback run or if he just felt he didn't have a receiver open. He was pretty quick to pull it down, so it might have been the play call all along. 2nd and along 7. They give it to Trey Grant. He fights hard for a 3-yard gain. I noticed he really was very conscious of holding on to the football there. Still has that fumble fresh in his mind, which of course I totally understand why he does that, but he also looked like he was more concerned with not fumbling than finding a hole. So 3rd and 4. Potomac fans coming to life, calling for defense. They've traveled well down here from McLean, which is what you'd expect for a state Final Four game. Tegan's looking long for Davion Brown. It's intercepted by Marcus Burrell. No, he dropped it. He did drop it, so not an interception, although let's make a note. It would have been Potomac ball at the 35, and with the Titans presumably going to punt here, I'm actually curious if they'll end up getting better field position than if they just intercepted it, because that that would have almost worked the same as a punt. So the freshman, Huey Stone, he's taken over punting duties the last part of the season. And, of course, this Titan team hasn't had to punt too often this year, but Huey's done a good job. And it's a pretty good punt, fair catch, right at the 35.
Yeah.
So literally the exact same as it would have been if they'd gotten the interception. Solid punt by Huey. It was about a 32-yard punt with no return, so pretty good net by the freshman. And Potomac, as the underdog, and the Titans were in this role last year as, well, we were, I guess, the 3 seed, going to the 2 seed, St. Stephen St. Agnes. But when you're the road team in a game like this, I think your mindset's got to be just get off to a good start, hang around as long as possible. Don't let the home crowd get into it. Let the pressure build on the favorite. And in this first half of the first quarter, Potomac's game script is gone just how they would want. Got a flag in here. That's an impressive run by Marcel Gaskins. I thought he was going to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage, but he ended up gaining 7 or 8. But we'll have to see what the flag is holding against the Panthers offensively. So that's a good result for the Titans, but still really impressed with Marcel Gaskins' ability to cut in and out of defenders. And I thought he was going to have a 5-yard loss, and instead he ended up, again, he benefited from the hold, but still he made a lot of guys miss, and these Titan tacklers rarely miss. So
Yeah, exactly.
he's one to keep an eye on for sure.
As well as the other couple running backs they have. They definitely seen Panthers, one of the first schools that I've seen in high school that rotate their running backs, such as they do with
Drew Turner,
Gaskin,
and
Turner, and
Blaze Jones has
Jones.
good stats as well. But right now it's Gaskins back there on 1st and 20 as we replay first down. Pressure coming from Derek Badley. And he throws him for about a 10-yard loss. Big-time sack by Badley. And it's going to be 2nd and nearly 30 for the Panthers.
Amazing play by Derek Badley there. You can't ask more for Badley.
Yeah, really so pleased for him. He missed pretty much all of last year with a really bad knee injury. Worked really hard. He only got cleared to participate, I think, like 1 or 2 days before the season opener at Benedictine.
Yeah.
And he could only play 1 or 2 plays at a time at that point just because he still had to get his fitness up. But he's had an awesome season, and good to see him in on a sack. Another good run by Gaskins. Wow. Big-time tackle, Mario Thompson. And it was a gain of,
say 8 yards,
yeah, it was
maybe a little less.
no, I think it was about 12.
I
think they were on their own 16, and he got it out to the 27. So well, maybe 11 or 12, but still 3rd and very long, 3rd and 18. And it's a position that the Titan pass rushers, I'm sure, are excited to get some pressure on, but little rollout. Caught for a few yards, not much, not anywhere close to a first down. I didn't catch the tackler. That was on the opposite sideline. A lot of bodies in our way there. Did you?
Saying it's Cam Fleming there.
Cam Fleming, okay, thanks to Coach Tyree. He's on it. Cam Fleming, the Virginia Tech commit, makes the tackle. And Panthers to punt. It's a low line drive, very returnable. Brennan Ridley, but it's well covered by the Panthers. He returned it for 8 or so, but the way that was coming, I thought he might have a chance to do a little more with it, but they did really well to corral him, and Titans will take over at their own 37. 4:48 to go in the first quarter.
I don't know. Something about Brennan this week, he doesn't have his nice bright neon yellow shoes. Almost didn't recognize him.
Yeah,
A little upset by that. You know, like, talk about his fashion sense.
Yeah, I'm not usually quite as hip to the fit as you are, but yeah, I do like those. It's Trey Grant again, and by my count, the Titans have had 6 plays from scrimmage, and 5 have been Trey Grant runs. Yeah. Oh, no, I guess 7, because Tegan had the run and then the long incompletion, but still it's been a steady diet of Trey Grant offensively so far. That time he picked up
a good 6.
6.
Yeah.
So 2nd and 4. This will be a pass out to Devion Brown. 1st down and more. Oh, he bobbled it, but hangs on. And that's a big gain. We're looking at 21-yard gain.
Yeah.
And 1st down for the Titans.
First time we've really been able to see Devion Brown do this game. I mean, he's had some pretty good. I mean, the first play he had, he wasn't able to grab his footing, and I think he definitely was able to get it there. And I think that's a pretty good momentum booster to Devion Brown, as he also had the tough play with 3 defenders on him where it was almost intercepted.
Yeah, he's a guy who's averaged over a touchdown a game here as a freshman. Nice pass. Isaiah Robinson, the all-prep league receiver, as just like Devion Brown, both of them who we were just talking about. Brown, a freshman, Robinson just a sophomore, and they both had fantastic years. And the sophomore Tegan Logan connects for a 16-yard gain and another 1st down into the red zone.
Titans making sure they have their play on lock with just 10 seconds left on play clock.
Trey Grant, he's got a 1st down and more. It's a touchdown, but there is a flag. There is a flag, and I don't think this is going to count, which is a shame because that was a heck of a run by Trey Grant, but it's a hold, and this one's coming back.
First flag there from the Titans. A little upsetting. You don't want your first flag to disrupt a touchdown, but that'll set them back 5 yards.
Yeah, so holding's a 10-yarder actually. 10. So they still have 1st down, but it's going to be 1st and 20 from the 29. That was a really nice run. Trey made a guy miss early, hit the hole, broke through a couple tackles. Definitely a bummer, but a big break for Potomac. Pass well over the head of Trey Ferguson, and a late flag comes in here as it's going to be against the Titans. Carlos Moore was tangled up with Jag Gioi and really looked like they were both still engaged after the whistle, but they're going to get Carlos Moore for an unsportsmanlike, and that's going to back it up 15 more. And we're going to have another timeout by the Titans, so they'll be left here with just 1 timeout in the first half, and this one was all Coach Mickens. I think he wanted to get his guys together, and
I think
probably just to finish my thought, Silvio, I think probably just remind them to stop with the self-inflicted wounds. They're able to move the ball well, but now they've given up 25 yards, but really 44 yards if you count the negated play, 44 yards of field position and 6 points off the scoreboard with just 2 back-breaking penalties. So I think just wants to remind them to play clean, play smart, and you should be fine.
Exactly. I think, this is the first 2 penalties, and they're really upsetting. I mean, we had Devion Brown with a great 20-yard gang, and then we see Isaiah Robinson with a good 16 yards, and then Trey Grant able to carry it into the end zone. And as you said, that neglected, and I think it's definitely an attitude that they need to change, especially in just 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Not that much time left to see maybe both teams get another hold here, but definitely a booster for Potomac. I mean, they're second and very long.
Yeah, 2nd and 35, and that's the other thing about that penalty. It was post-play, so it's also a loss of down.
Yeah.
At least the holding, it was still first down, but now it's 2nd and 35, and that play goes backwards. They looked for a swing pass out to Trey Grant, but a great job reading it.
I had Drew Turner there, number 8.
I think it was number 11, David Hyde, I think, who read that play for the Panthers, and a 5-yard loss, and it's 3rd and 40. We've seen several times this year where the Titans defense puts opponents in these 3rd and a mile type of situations, but rarely have we seen it on our end, and they're just going to run it with Trey Grant. He's going to get a bunch of yards, but still well short of the first down. Gosh, he picked up 22, and yet it's still 4th and 18. This is an interesting. I think they're going to go. It's too long for a field goal. You're not going to punt it from. It's all the way down almost to the 25.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to go. It's still 4th and 16 or 17, but they are leaving the offense on the field as we head under 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Tagan's got some time. He throws it, I think, caught, but no gain. Maybe 1 yard for Trey Ferguson. So Potomac will take over on downs, and we've now seen 3 empty possessions for the Titan offense, which has been really you have to go back to the first half at Benedictine and the season opener, I think, to have 3 straight empty possessions for this offense. So Potomac has played great. One thing I did notice, Silvio, when Coach Mickens called that timeout, I thought maybe he was going to really kind of holler at him after the 2 penalties, but he had a very calm demeanor. There was no raised voices, but it looked like he just wanted to take a minute and remind his guys how good they are and just to stay the course. And there's still 3+ quarters left.
Nice to see Terrence Edwards back out there in his starting position.
Yeah, that's huge. We've got a great defensive backfield. All 4 of the starters, the 2 corners and the 2 safeties have, I mean, gosh, between them probably 60+ offers.
Oh, yeah.
But that is a position where, we know guys like James Woodward and Isaiah Robinson can provide some depth, but you definitely want to see that starting group stay intact as much as possible. I'm not sure what it was with Deuce. I think it might have been like a chest or midsection type of thing on that. And Coach Hall checked him out. He had him run up and down the sideline a few times, and looks like he's good to go. All right, Panthers first down from their own 25. It's Gaskins again. He fights hard and picks up 3 yards.
I mean, really nice carry. I mean, there was a whole lot of Titans, a whole lot of Panthers in that area, and Gaskin to pick up 3 is still really impressive.
Yeah, I completely agree, Silvio. That was one of those I thought he was going to lose a yard or 2, be lucky to get to the line of scrimmage. He ends up picking up 3, and he, for me, is as impressive a running back as I've seen this year against this Titan defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's quick, he's shifty, he's strong and hard to bring down. 2nd and 7. Cameron Boykin in the shotgun. He's looking to this near sideline, and there is Deuce Edwards with great coverage all over Grant Joe. Perfectly played, and it'll be 3rd and 7.
I know, really good coverage by Dewson. I believe Mario Thompson in the area there just to show how, strong the defense is. And now it's 3-7, and I think the Panthers are really gonna have to come up with some good play here to stay in and not be 3-and-out. And I think that's exactly what Titans want to look for, a 3-and-out after some really bad flags that I think, as you said, self-inflicted wounds, which are something you never want to see.
Absolutely. All right, here comes this big third down. Titan fans trying to make some noise. Timeout Potomac. And their coaching staff, led by head coach C.J. Remo. This is, like you just said, Silvio, a really crucial play, and I think he wants to make sure that everyone's on the same page, and he has exactly the play call that they want. So, of course, the winner of this game moves on to the state championship to face the winner of a couple other Richmond schools. Benedictine is hosting St. Christopher's, same simultaneous 1 o'clock kickoff like we have, and they are also deadlocked at 0 right now. So if the Titans are able to win this game, then we'll see a crosstown rival that we've beaten once already this year, either Benedictine or St. Christopher's. And if Potomac were to spring the upset today, they'd be heading back to Richmond next week to face whoever wins that game as the 2 and 3 seed. They would potentially host. All right, it's Gaskins on 3rd and 7. He's going to be just short. He caught it out of the backfield, but I think he's short. He got a pretty good spot. They might give it to him. Let's see where they put this down.
Thanks.
This is a huge spot right here. Wow, it's a really generous spot. I think they're going to bring the chains out, but I think he got it. And you can't challenge and go to the replay in high school, but I thought he was down about the 34, but they put it all the way on the 35, and if I were a betting man, I would say he got this.
And if he does get out, it takes all the worries away of having to do a 4th and inches.
Yeah, he got it. And right, had it been 4th and inches, you're left with a really tough decision in your own territory. But that decision is taken out of C.J. Remo's hands as Gaskins got it on the screen pass.
Very interesting screen pass as well. There was a couple guys on Boykin there. I think I saw Derek badly and maybe Robbie Dunn with their hands up right around him. Just a little worried if he would rush, and he found Gaskins there, and really good job by Gaskins to pick up that 4 or 5 yards to just barely get that first down.
Yeah, it was a lot of poise shown by Boykin as the pressure came upon him, and Gaskins had a nose for the chains, and he just got there. This time they're going to throw on 1st down. Incomplete. Nice catch by defensive coordinator Wally Rayner on the sideline. He showed off the skills that he used in an 8-year NFL career and why he was a star at the University of Virginia, class of 2000. Coach Rayner snagged that ball like it was like a orange or apple being thrown his way.
Probably was.
Yeah. He looks like he could still get out and play football in the pros today. All right, 2nd and 10. I think, if my memory serves, I think that's the first time they've thrown it on 1st down.
Yeah.
Pretty much been a steady diet of runs, and this time it's going to be a run. It's a fumble! And I think Potomac, one of the O-linemen came up with it. They do. That is actually not an O-lineman. That's number 5, Andrew Lay, the wide receiver. So that was Drew Turner, who he's listed on the roster as a quarterback. We hadn't seen him play quarterback yet, but it was a design quarterback draw for Turner. Ends up no gain, but the Panthers fortunate to retain possession, and that is the end of the first quarter. So
Naked eyes there by number 5 there for the Panthers to pick up that fumble.
It's huge, and I just think there have been so many plays like that could go either way in this. Again, it's only one quarter of play, but whether it was the spot on the previous 3rd and 7 or the penalty on the Titan touchdown that negated that, now a fumble that would have given great field position to Trinity, but instead allows Potomac to retain it. It just feels like every 50-50 play has kind of gone the way of the Panthers so far, and that's what you have to have if you're trying to pull an upset against a team that's undefeated, that's outscored their opponents by average of 40-10. And I'm going to use a phrase that I have thought about a lot when I've coached, both when I've had a team that was a heavy favorite and things weren't going our way, or when I coached a team that was an underdog. And the phrase, I call it the anatomy of an upset. And for an upset to happen, the team that is the underdog has to have all those 50-50s go their way. I mean, not all, but the majority. And so clearly this is a game that the Titans come in as favorites, but Potomac has had a great year. They have a lot of pride. We mentioned off the top, if you joined us late, even the 2 losses they've had this year were one-possession games. So
and I believe they were in the 3rd seed for this championship for a long time, and St. Chris just barely beat them out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big one, though, because that's one of those 50-50 plays that this time goes the Titans' way. That could have been caught for a first down by Drew Turner, but instead Deuce Edwards, he might have even got a little piece of it to change the trajectory. We'll give him credit for it at least. So now 4th and 10, and the Titans will get the ball back on the punt. And, yeah, you're right, Sylvia. I think in the ratings, which it's like a computer rating for football. Last I checked, St. Chris and Potomac were in a maybe even exactly tied or a virtual tie. So they could have been the 3 seed, but for I'm not actually sure how the tiebreaker was decided, but Coach's poll. There we go. All right, very short punt, although it takes a generous Potomac bounce. It bounced right at midfield, but travels to the 41. So thanks again to Carter Tyree, our executive producer, for setting me straight. So St. Chris and Potomac ended tied for 3rd, and St. Chris got the 3 seed by virtue of the coaches poll, which I'm sure the Saints were excited not to have to come back here just 3 weeks after a 42-7 loss.
Yeah.
But instead we see a Potomac team that has provided a lot of resistance so far in a quarter and 14 seconds. Good field position for the Titans. Trey Grant gains 8 yards, no flags, no fumbles.
I think especially, that's a pretty important 8 yards. I mean, we haven't seen the Titans, especially their long run, but then they were sent back by a mile, I think you said. And, that's if they get this first down, this is the first mark of, their actual gain, the first mark of their progression towards their first points on the board, which is extremely important.
It's Grant. He's going to have a first down and plenty more. He carries it inside the 35, finally tackled at the 32. That is an 18-yard gain and another first down for Trey Young. And if it weren't for that penalty, I think he'd already be over 100.
Yeah, Trey Grant there with a really good carry. Not Young, Grant.
Geez.
Said Young.
Oh, I was wondering what y'all were laughing at. That's a pretty big mistake on my part. Trey Grant, definitely not Trey Young, Atlanta Hawks gunner. They're very different. Trey Grant,
though.
I'll tell you what, I bet Trey Young wouldn't be knocking over defenders like that. And Trey Grant with 22 more yards all the way to the 10-yard line. And before I made that mistake of getting the 5-letter last names confused, I was just about to say I really think the Titans need to score here. Just to take some of the pressure off and rebuild the confidence and poke holes in that anatomy of an upset that I mentioned. You got to get a touchdown here. You want 6 points and then an extra point. and remind Potomac why you're the 1 seed. Trey Ferguson out in space. He is going to be pushed out inside the 5. I think
Really
it's
nice.
the 3-yard line.
Yeah. Really nice to see Trey Ferguson back out
7.
there.
Yeah, 3-yard line, 2nd and goal. Yeah, I love seeing Trey Ferguson back out there. You're right. He missed a couple weeks with a high ankle sprain. As we mentioned once already, he's going to play football at the Naval Academy next year. Trey Grant, touchdown Titans. No flags this time. Trey Grant scores for the 16th time this year.
I mean, yeah, just a beautiful touchdown by him, and I mean that's his revenge opportunity. I mean his first initial great play with 20 yards was had a flag on it, and this one definitely doesn't. I don't know, what an amazing first 6 points that Trey and the Titans able to put up on the board.
That was a fantastic drive. Took over at their own 41. The drive had 5 Trey Grant runs, 1 Trey Ferguson reception. A lot of Trey. Extra point is good. J.D. Stemhagen, who just signed to play baseball at Manhattan College, but he's had a great season kicking here in the fall for the Titans.
Yeah.
And J.D. told me recently he wishes he could also play soccer. He was a great soccer player as a 9th grader on JV. One of the top players on a team that featured 5 of our current starters on the varsity soccer team that'll be playing Monday night for a state championship. And JD, at least as a 9th grader, was at least as good as any of those guys. So imagine if he could do both. But he's keeping his talents out here on the gridiron, and can't wait to see him have an awesome senior baseball season for Coach Tim Mary on the diamond before heading up to NYC to play for Manhattan. And we see the man we're talking about, JD, with a big kickoff, travels all the way to the 1-yard line where Marcel Gaskins will bring it out, and he gets only to the 20 where I believe it was Cameron Walker with a tackle.
Yeah.
Cameron Walker, one of the major student leaders here of the Trinity student body. He's SGA, I think, vice president. He's on honor committee, head of the Black Alliance Initiative.
Yeah, officer of BIA, Black Alliance Initiative, president of SALT Club.
President of SALT Club.
Yeah.
I want to find out more about SALT Club.
Officer of Latin Club.
I heard a lot about SALT Club this week at Advisee parent conferences, and I didn't know much about it, so got to be filled in on that one. But this time they hand off for a loss. Derek Bagley gets in the backfield for, that is going to be a 2-yard loss. I believe it's the first time we've seen Gaskins thrown for a loss. And 2nd and 12. And if the Titans could build on that touchdown with a 3-and-out here, that would be fantastic in terms of the momentum. We see Cameron Boykin, the quarterback. He headed over to the sideline and jogs back into the huddle as we have only 10 seconds on the play clock as the Panthers break the huddle. He throws it incomplete, looking for Andrew Lay, but that went off the turf. Let's be 3rd and 12.
Again, another really big 3rd down play for the Panthers here. If they're not able to convert this 3rd and 12, the Titans will do exactly what they want and get another 3-and-out from the Panthers here. And especially as the Panthers' first quarter game was going, they were on fire. They were definitely had as I think you just said, some really good 50-50 opportunities to score, and I think they're going to need a good play here to secure the first down.
Yep, 3rd and 12. Titan fans getting loud. They're going to hand off to Gaskins on 3rd and 12. He does not get it. Only picked up 3.
Mario Thompson with a really good tackle there.
Mario Thompson with the great tackle, like you said. 4th and 9, and the Panthers are going to have to punt. If we have any Titan fans who are watching who live in the Richmond market, I see the CBS 6 crew, so should be highlights of today's game on Channel 6. Nice job by Brennan Ridley. Wow. He really sprinted up to field that. No fair catch. Took a hard hit, but he's going to give the Titans great field position. You know, I think the return was only 6 yards, but if he had not caught it and let that bounce, that could have been a difference of about 20 yards of field position. And Brennan Ridley, even without his, what is it, lime green shoes?
Yellow,
or
like they're
bright yellow.
Yeah, bright yellow.
But that play to me was very underrated. He really played his safety on the line to pick up some key yardage and give the Titans fantastic field position.
And I think that's something, you know, Bell and all the coaches on the Titan staff really encourage the guys to do, you know, put, you know, all your effort into the small plays and maybe not get all the recognition.
Here we see Trey Ferguson at running back. He's going to go all the way. 40 yards. What a little change of pace there as the much quicker but smaller Trey Ferguson takes a handoff. And that's a one-play drive of 40 yards. Trey Fergie to the house. Man, he looked fast when he got that. Just so quick. Hit the hole, and he was gone. And he had a great hole on that right side. So got to give probably Carlos Moore. He's out there on the right side.
Yeah, Carlos on the right
side.
I'm sure
I wasn't really looking at the blockers, but I have to think that Carlos Moore had a key role in opening up that hole. Another all-league player headed to play at Hampton next year. J.D. Stemhagen splits the uprights, and just like that, it is 14-0 Titans.
What an amazing, what an amazing play there. I mean, you gotta watch out for Trey Grant's job. I mean, Trey Ferguson had the speed, and Carlos Moore, we believe it was, with an amazing hole for him to just run down the sideline for, what was it, 40-ish yards.
Well, and what a luxury for the Titan offense to have a big bruising back like Trey Grant, who's so hard to bring down, but then a quick, elusive, much smaller guy in Trey Ferguson, who's typically a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But it's kind of I don't know if you want to call it fire and ice, but just like two really different styles. And that's got to
I think Earth and Wind would be a really good.
Earth and Wind?
Yeah.
I like that too.
The
I like
big
that.
bulk of Trey and the fast nimbleness of Ferguson, and an amazing kick there.
Yeah, I think Gaskins was going to take a touchback, but he realized he wasn't in the end zone. And great coverage by Cameron Walker, Isaiah Robinson, James Woodward were all down there. Henry Caudle as well. So all the momentum with the Titans here in the second quarter.
Davis Elliott also in the area of that nice play. Yeah, I think that's exactly what you're going to say. Gaskin was thinking about taking a touchback. He's looked back at his feet, and he realized he wasn't in the end zone, and he had to start running. And by that time, he started going. I mean, there were already two Titans right in his face. And
flags. False start Panthers, and when things are going against you, that's the last way you want to start a possession.
Yeah, I think as self-inflicting wounds are never good, especially as the Titans there, they get 2 threes announced and then score on both of those offensive possessions they have, and I think the Panthers are definitely going to be looking for multiple first downs on the drive here.
Yes.
To reboost confidence, number one, and I mean 8 minutes in the second quarter, in the half, I think going into second half with points on their belt, it would be pretty important for the Panthers, just overall mental drive and how optimistic.
That's a good catch, or no, incomplete. So almost a great catch by Andrew Lay, and that's one of those where I think if we had replay in high school, you could make a case that he did catch it and fumble. I thought he had. I mean, obviously, I think I even said great catch.
I think, yeah.
So
I saw position there as well.
I thought it maybe could have been ruled a catch and a fumble, but they're going to just say he never had possession and incomplete. And Silvio, just prior to that play, you took the words right out of my mouth that, of course, if you're a Potomac fan, you would love to have points on this possession, but at least a couple first downs to let your defense get some rest, to reestablish some field position, because if they go 3 and out again, the Titans are very likely to have fantastic field position. In fact, they may have amazing field position, but again, Potomac falls on their own fumble. So it was a strip sack by, I think it was Derek Bagley again, who knocked it out of the hands of the quarterback Boykin, but it was, I'm almost positive, number 58. Well, I don't have a 58. Maybe it was 68, Patrick Wolf, who recovered. Well, there is a 58 out there. I don't have that on my roster, but I think 58 recovered. And
see Cameron Walker walk off the field with a limp, but
that's
he
not
does
good.
look okay.
That's a massive recovery, though. I mean, Titans would have had it at the 5. It is 3rd and 20. They hand off to Gaskins. Good hole. He's got a lot of room. He won't get the first down, but he gives them good field position. Zaire Rayner came up and upended him.
Yeah, Zaire Rayner, Cornell Allen, both with right in the area of that. And I think as you were saying, give your defense rest, and I think to reassess the situation, and the situation's vital. They've only seen Trey Grant, Trey Ferguson, and those were running touchdown plays, and I think, they have to figure out what they're going to do with Trey Grant's running play. But then, we throw in Davion Brown, we throw in Isaiah Robinson, Brennan Ridley, Trey Ferguson as a wide receiver. Those are all 4 weapons that they haven't really had to face big challenges yet so far.
Yeah, so I want to come back around to what you just said, Silvio, but just to do the accounting on that punt, it's a pretty effective punt, actually, as it rolls all the way into Titan territory to the 38. So that just tells you what a huge fumble recovery that was for Potomac, because if the Titans had that fumble, that's a field position difference of about 57 yards by recovering that fumble. But at some point, you don't have to answer this yet, but I want to ask you, you just mentioned 5 or 6 of the Titan offensive weapons. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you for an offensive MVP on this season, and we'll wait till the next time out. But just want you to think about that, because there's some big candidates with a bunch of all-league players at quarterback, running back, offensive line, wide receiver. And this time we're going to see the quarterback, Tegan Logan, air it out to one of those all-prep wide receivers, Isaiah Robinson, and he brings it in for 12 plus 18. That's a 30-yard gain. 30-yard gain by Robinson. 29, actually, but it's really well-positioned pass by Tegan Logan.
As well as, we use with all the MVPs, as you're saying, you got to think about how many of these guys really started in the position last year. Tegan, he was a secondary. They had Jack Toscano. Isaiah, he got injured. Davion is a freshman, but we have...
Davion wasn't even here last year. Yeah. And that's another first down. Davion Brown, right when you were talking about him, he catches it for another 15 at least. He hasn't put the ball down yet. Yeah, 15 yards to the 18. Now that I brought up the question, I keep actually going back and forth between a few different people as an offensive MVP this year.
Being injured and then having to come in, we have a new center on the O-line. A lot of the O-line guys had to switch it up a little, and it's worked out great. She definitely have a lot of really good candidates with that. Good question, yeah.
Well, here's one of them. It's Trey Grant. He put it on the ground. I think he did recover it. It fell nicely to him, but he gained 2 yards, and just as he was going down, he fumbled but fell right on it. But I'm telling you, we have not seen him put the ball on the ground, not just this year, but last year either. He's just always really, really sure-handed. So He lost one fumble on the first possession and put it on the ground again on that one. And wow. So I know the running back coach, Coach Shedrick McCall, will probably have a word with him about those fumbles. This pass is going to be PI, pass interference against Potomac.
Not sure
He's
who
looking
that,
for Devion Brown.
yeah,
Devin Dunn with the coverage, and Devin Dunn did not like that call. I think he felt like he had defended it really well, but I think he, that's a 50-50 call, but he kind of came through the back of Brown, who had sort of boxed him out. We know that Devion Brown will also be playing basketball here soon, and
I think I can maybe agree with Dunn there. I think we saw coverage by James Woodward a little earlier that was close like that, and with the refs, you always like them to be consistent on what they're going to do. We saw a game earlier in the season where the refs were really calling the pass interference, with I think Deuce getting a couple, and definitely I think that was the Norfolk Academy game where both teams got a lot of them, and I think Dunn there definitely a little upset with that close coverage that he had.
Yeah, I thought Devion went with like a little hitch route and just looked to box him off. And Devion Brown, or Fat Rat as everybody calls him, is a big kid, 6'3", 190, and he just seemed to box him out. Yeah, freshman, just turned 15 last month, but he looks 20 years old out there. And I think that Dunn just came right through him, and I think it would have been a tough catch because Tegan Logan really fired it in there. We have a little stoppage in play, and I actually think one of the refs has it looks like maybe a dislocated finger. Oh, bloody hand. Okay. I knew they were messing with his hand. I've dislocated my finger so many times. That just was my guess, but I'm sure Carter Tyree, our goalkeeper coach, has probably dislocated his finger many times as well. Hazards of the trade. So yeah, while they're gonna get the ref cleaned up with that blood. All right, Silvio, I think I'm ready for my answer now.
All right,
give me your offensive MVP just based on the regular season for these Titans.
I'll break it down to 3 players, and I'll tell you. I'm gonna have to break it down to Trey Grant. I think he's had such an amazing season. I think over 1,000 yards regular season. Isaiah Robinson, sophomore wide receiver, injured last year, so he wasn't really able to play his freshman year. But I mean, he has the height, his jumping ability when it on his one-on-ones is just so good. And then we're gonna have to give it to Devion Brown with for the top 3. I think Devion Brown coming as a freshman, he's showing why there's so much hype around him, and he's proving that he deserves that hype. But out of those 3, I think I'm gonna give it to the underdog, Isaiah Robinson. I think that he's had such a good year, and he has, his height, and he's using it. He uses his height so effectively with his jumping ability on his one-on-ones, where Tegan Logan can give him a higher toss, and he can normally get the possession over the ball. And I think with that really good skill, and I think we have him of 346 yards, which is very impressive.
And Tegan is under a lot of pressure here. He's actually going to get sacked, and that's going to make it – it was 2nd and inches. That's going to push it all the way back to 3rd and 10, although I would have thought it would have been first down after the PI, but I guess I may be wrong because the chains say 3rd and 10. One of the Potomac defenders comes on the field late. One other thing about that Isaiah Robinson call by you is, I mean, when you say he was injured last year, I mean, that was a pretty catastrophic leg break that he had. It wasn't just, like an ankle sprain or something. I mean, he had a leg fracture that we saw right on this field, and that's another sack, 2 in a row. This time for Potomac, it's Tyler Judd, the senior, and you got to give Potomac a lot of credit as the momentum was all with the Titans. Trinity was inside the 10-yard line, but now they are pushed back with 2 consecutive sacks. Offense still on the field. It's just that same area of the field where they went for it on 4th and long before, where you're really too deep to punt. That's not going to do you much good. little too far for a field goal. So they're going to go for it on 4th and about 16. And once again, there's pressure. It's off the helmet of a defender and caught. It won't be enough for a first down, though. That was a crazy-looking play. Mario Thompson ends up catching it. So it hit off a defender's helmet. Mario Thompson hauled it in. It ended up being a gain of a few, but still not nearly enough for a first down. And Potomac is able to get the ball back. And, yeah, so just to finish up that conversation, Isaiah Robinson is the offensive MVP from Silvio, and you mentioned a couple other great candidates in Trey Grant and Devion Brown. And I want to throw one more name into the debate, which is Tegan Logan, quarterback who's thrown for 1,767 yards and 25 touchdowns, played basically every snap. And this time Gaskins runs for a big loss, 6-yard loss. Somebody tell me who made that tackle. Davis Elliott. All right, Davis busting through. Love to see it. Davis doesn't always start, but he's really had strong play this year. He's got to be – I mean, it just speaks to what a talented team this is that Davis Elliott isn't a normal starter, because any other year of Titan football, I think he would have been
he's out there all
key
day.
player.
Yeah.
He's a great guy on the D-line and special teams.
Him and James
2nd and
Woodward.
16.
A little side celebration over his good play.
This is a completed pass tackled by the two brothers, Zaire Rayner and Elijah Rayner, combined for the tackle. It was Drew Turner with the catch. Pretty decent gain. It looks like about 10 yards, and it'll be 3rd and 7. By the time they snap it, we'll be under 2 minutes till halftime. Of course, the Titans only with 1 timeout left after they had to use 2 in the first quarter. Panthers have 2 timeouts. I would think if they can score here, or I'm sorry, if they can get a first down, then they may try and go on to score. But if the Titans get a stop, I would look for probably Trinity to maybe call a timeout. It is a first down and a lot more. This is a huge play for Potomac. Their biggest play of the game. It's Drew Turner with the reception. It goes all the way to the 33 of the Titans. You're looking at a over 40-yard gain there for Potomac.
That's exactly what they needed, too. They needed that momentum boost with just 1:30 left to go in the first half. And I think if they're able to make this, even a field goal, getting your first 3 points on the board, I mean, even as I think we were talking about earlier, just getting your first and getting those first downs, a first down and a first down, gets your offense happy, gets your defense, people on the sideline cheering for you even stronger and louder. And I think that play there is a really good start. Yeah,
Potomac will get the ball to start the second half as well. So, I mean, in theory, if they could score here right at the end of the first half and then get it again to start the second half, they could actually have tied this game by the time the Titans touch the ball again. That's going to be another big one. Oh, wow. Just at the last second, Zaire Rayner came in to break that up. Number 9, Jack Judd, was pretty open, but Zaire Rayner with a huge play.
Coverage. I do believe
if he doesn't get that, it's probably a touchdown.
Yeah, I do believe Zaire Rayner had picked out his top 10 schools for his offers, and I think he did that.
So Z put out his top 10 yesterday. I'll try maybe after this next play, because I don't know if I can get 10 schools said before the snap, but I think I know him.
Oh wow.
He put him on the board in my classroom yesterday afternoon before the tweet came out, so I got a little sneak peek.
Really good picks in there. I mean, a lot of
2nd and 10. They're going to throw again, but actually he's going to pull it down and run. Wow, Mario Thompson says, no, you're not going any further here, Cameron Boykin. He only gained 1 yard, and it's going to be 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9.
Clock keeps running, and there's really no reason for either team to call a timeout, because Potomac still should have time. Before you show me that, I want to see if I can remember it from memory. Z's top 10. Yeah, I think Potomac wants to bleed all the clock they can. If they get the first down here, you'll see them look to speed it up and try and score before halftime. But if they don't get it, they want to leave the Titans with as little time as possible. Play clock under 5. It is caught. It is a first down. Zaire Rayner makes the tackle, and I think Zaire's hurt. So, couple things to talk about here. First down all the way to the 12, and Zaire Rayner is still down and looks to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And this is going to give Potomac a really good opportunity to score before half, and I know how tough Zaire is, so to see him down in that much pain is not a good sign. Yeah, I hesitant to speculate on injuries, but it definitely looks to be in the shoulder or collarbone type of area. It's definitely above the waist. It's a shame. He's had such a great first half. Several pass breakups, a lot of good tackles. Even that tackle saved a touchdown.
Yeah.
And so
I think I think he had 3 in a row. Just then he had 3 great tackles that probably would have stopped touchdown or near touchdown attempts.
So we were just talking about Zaire, and as you mentioned last night, he's a guy who has about 25 offers. He's a junior, and last night he put out his top 10 schools. So let's talk about what they are, because we're going to have a second here while we see him get attended to. But so it's UVA, Wake Forest. I say UVA first because that's where I'm hoping he goes, like his daddy. Wake Forest, Duke, Virginia Tech. Those are all the ACC ones. Mm-hmm. Then you got Arkansas, Minnesota, Colorado, Florida A&M, and I'm struggling now. South Carolina?
Nope.
No.
Okay, he has a South Carolina offer, so
he did.
you're gonna have to tell me the last two. I don't remember them.
Pittsburgh and Maryland.
And Maryland. Okay. So another ACC school and a former ACC school. I forgot about Maryland. He just got Maryland this week.
I think Maryland was
He's up. Yeah, Maryland, of course,
great.
in the Big Ten now. He's walking off, but Zaire Rayner is a guy who we're going to see playing at one of those 10 schools at the next level in 2 years, and thankfully here for another year. I just hope we'll see him again this year.
Yeah.
He's definitely walking off gingerly, and that's going to put – looks like Henry Caudle is coming into the secondary.
Yeah, I would believe
Potomac called timeout, which I mean, not to be insensitive, but you'd like to think they would have been ready to go. There was a long break there.
I mean, it gives just more time for Titans to, especially Henry Caudle, to understand his position, which is a little nice. So even more about Z, I know he had offers of such as Syracuse, Ole Miss, that he shot down, which they're having great college seasons this year.
Yeah, Penn State.
I mean, it just shows how good Z and how fundamental he is to the defense and how good of a future he should put and hopefully have.
Yeah, he's a guy that I also had the privilege to teach last year, a fantastic student, really engaging young man. Just really hope he's okay. He's such a pleasure to watch on and off the field. All right, it's first down from the 12. This is the furthest Potomac's been all day. This play's going nowhere. Great coverage by big bro Elijah Rayner. We've been talking a lot about Zaire Rayner, but Elijah Rayner says, don't forget about me, as he steps up and tackles for a loss.
And I believe he's already committed to
William & Mary. Yep. So that, I believe Potomac just used their final timeout of the half, and that play went for, I guess it's going to only end up being about a 1 yard loss. Actually, from here, looked like maybe even more like 3, but I guess they gave him forward momentum before Elijah threw him back. So it's going to be 2nd and 11, 28 seconds.
Perhaps,
No timeouts. I guess, obviously if you're Potomac, of course you want to get in the end zone here.
Yeah. And then you would have the ball
but
again.
I would think at a minimum, though, you at least want to get on the board with a field goal if they can't get in the end zone and have some points going into half. Speaking of which, the other semifinal still scoreless at halftime.
Which is between
St. Christopher's at Benedictine.
Yeah. Yep. Just viewing the St. Chris and Benedictine over there playing at Benedictine.
All right, big play here right in front of the student section. They're getting loud. Probably the loudest I've heard the students all day other than the 2 touchdowns. It's a pickoff, intercepted, and there's room. He could go. It's Mario Thompson. This is huge. Will he be able to go all the way? Yes, he will. Maybe not. Yes, he will. Mario Thompson, 92 yards to the house. Huge play with 14 seconds left. Instead of Potomac going in to cut it to 14-7, it's going to be at least 20, possibly 21 or 22-0 Titans. Mario Thompson, the Old Dominion commit, with, I'd have to say, the biggest play of the game because
so far, yeah.
That's potentially a 14-point swing. And, wow, 92 yards. The linebacker, Mario Thompson, but he also showed you his running skills after that catch.
And I mean,
that's huge.
Yeah, definitely be able to get to know Mario Thompson a little better, have a class with him this year. Great guy. I mean, he's a joy to have around in class.
This one is in as well. J.D. Stemhagen 3 for 3. And if you just think about you and I feel like every game, Silvio, we talk about momentum. Think about the momentum difference.
Yeah.
That just happened there. If let's say Potomac gets in and scores a touchdown, it's 14-7, and they get the ball to start the second half. And if you're a Potomac player, coach, or fan, you feel like we are right in this thing. Now instead, at 21-0 against a defense that only gives up 10 points per game, I mean, of course Potomac will fight till the very end, but you gotta feel a whole lot of a different vibe going into the locker room.
And I think exactly as you said it perfectly. I mean, if Potomac does score there, 7, it's just a one possession game, and then they have in the second half, and I mean, they're only down by 1 touchdown, and that touchdown is doable. I mean, we've seen them make some really good plays. I mean, they've had some crazy opportunities with fumbles and pickoffs that they've almost had. We've seen them be able to do that, and I think as you said, they could have all been in it and very hype in the locker room.
This time we see number 1, Devin Dunn with the return. Cornell Allen brings him down. 6 seconds left in the half. And on this final play of the half, Potomac is just going to take a knee and go into the halftime. Trinity Episcopal 21, Potomac 0. And Potomac played well defensively.
Yeah.
They moved the ball better than we've seen most teams do against these Titans, but that 92-yard interception return just changes the whole tenor of things. And as a Titan fan, you got to be really, really happy right now. The only one negative from that first half is the injury to Zaire Rayner. We'll certainly thinking and praying for him to make a speedy recovery, but otherwise everything else is coming up green and blue and white and gray today, and 21-0 halftime lead. So
definitely want to talk about Potomac's first quarter performance. I think, as you're saying, that was one of the first teams that we've really seen match up to the Titan level. They had their first couple plays of possession. I mean, the pick off of the fumble and how they were able to move that ball was very impressive. Potomac can come out swinging like that again in the second half, this game could definitely flip pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a win or go home game, so Potomac is gonna make sure that they come back and fire with everything they have. Their seniors are gonna desperately want to keep their season going, so I know there'll be no quit in these Panthers. But if you're Trinity, the way that half ended, you got to feel like you've at least got 1 foot into the title game, where you're going to get a shot to host essentially one of your 2 biggest rivals.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a dream, and a chance to complete an undefeated season for the first time in school history. So it's just a really exciting time to be a Titan fan, and to add to that, and in terms of what an exciting time it is to be a Titan fan, soccer. We are just a little over 48 hours away from the boys soccer team playing for in the state championship game for the first time ever against St. Christopher's. Monday night, 7:30, City Stadium. TESPN will be there. We had our first ever off-campus broadcast for the semifinals on Wednesday, the 1-0 win over Collegiate School with a last-minute goal by Colin Flood, which is I'm going to put it my all-time top 3 moments in TESPN history.
Has to be.
And we'll be back out there Monday, and hopefully anyone who's within driving distance who's a Trinity fan will be there as well. And let's do this. Let's take a few minutes of a break, and then right before we come back for the second half, I'm going to try and line up a brief interview with one of the Titan soccer coaches to get us in the mood for Monday's championship game. So
sounds like a plan.
We're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll do a short interview right before the second half to give you a little preview for the soccer championship on Monday. And then, of course, we'll have the second half of action coming your way. We'll be right back. All right, second half is about 3 minutes from kicking off, but we are glad to be joined by TESPN executive producer, athletic department member, not quite sure how to describe you, a little bit of everything that he does in our athletic department. He's the coach, assistant coach, but primarily goalie coach for boys and girls soccer, and that is my man, Carter Tyree. And Coach Tyree, you are Monday night going to help lead these Titan boys soccer players to an appearance in the state championship game against St. Christopher's, a team that we've already seen twice this year. In fact, they gave us our only loss on the season, 2-1 in the first game, then it was 2-2 here when they had the rematch, and now it's round 3. And what are you expecting on Monday night?
I mean, with any championship game, you kind of have to throw everything that's happened in the season out the window. You know, you look back at our last 2 games, and the boys, I think, have already decided those are flukes. They're really confident in themselves, which is awesome. I think the biggest difference is going to be how we able to handle early on. I think a lot of those St. Chris guys have been in big games, been in City Stadium before last year.
Right, and obviously they played actually against the Potomac school, who we're watching right now on the football field. That's who they beat in their semifinal game on Wednesday night before we beat Collegiate. And, of course, they had a regular season game there as well. So they do have a lot more experience playing in that environment. And since you did have the game Wednesday there, could you just talk about what it was like? You're playing in a professional stadium, I would imagine an immaculate pitch, but also it's just very different than a high school stadium, and particularly since we don't usually play night games under the lights. Just talk about the environment and atmosphere at City Stadium.
I mean, I think the atmosphere was amazing. It was interesting coming in. The St. Chris Potomac game before us really didn't have a lot of fans. I mean, very few Potomac fans, and all were mostly parents, and then a couple St. Chris kids, but no large student section. But then by the time it got to our games, props to Collegiate, they had their student section out. We had our student section out. I mean, it was an outstanding experience. I know when I played in a state championship game in 2013, we were at just a normal park, which it had a little bit bigger stands than we were used to, but there was no locker room experience. There was no, we had to do separate entrances for our buses the other night to get in from the players. We're kind of walking, it's a professional environment, and I think, it's really cool, and something we stressed to all those players was just take it in and enjoy this.
And you could tell they did. They were really soaking it all in, but at the same time staying focused on the task at hand. And obviously Collegiate has a great team, a great program. They came in as the number 1 seed, as the Prep League champion. What do you think was the key to getting that win?
I think it was everybody defensively. I think we defended all over the field. We did a pretty good job pressing up top, and then when they got the ball into our third, every single person on our team putting their body on the line, blocking shots. I think our goalkeeper played a pretty good game. I don't want to give him too much credit because then I'll have to hear about it for the rest of my life.
Well, you deserve a lot of credit because both our goalkeepers, Mitchell Kugelman and Joe Turkley, have made massive strides under your tutelage, as well as the girls' goalkeeper, Kate DeRocco, who became an all-league player as a sophomore after having never played above rec soccer, never even played travel soccer. So you've done an incredible job with your work with the soccer program on both the boys and girls side, and an incredible job with TESPN. Coach Tyree handles so much of the behind-the-scenes things that you viewers don't get to see and hear, but we would not be where we are without his contribution. So second half about to kick off, but Titan Nation thanks you, Carter Tyree. Good luck Monday night. We'll be there. Can't wait. And right on cue, here's the second half kickoff. Thanks, bud.
Cool. I'm just going to give it back to Silvio.
And the second half kickoff is a pretty good return for Devin Dunn. Potomac will have solid field position. Looks like at their own 33.
Good to be back on the mic there. Nice little interview about boys soccer and what they've done so far and how the great season they've had. Definitely nice to have some good friends on there.
Yeah, so excited for Monday, as I was so excited for this, and hopefully if we can hang on, so excited for next Saturday. Just, it's such a great time to be part of Trinity Athletics, and second half starts well for the Titans as the talented running back Marcel Gaskins, who had a really strong first half. His first run of the second half goes for a loss of 1. Derek Badley, again, he's been just a monster today.
Yeah.
Sacks, tackles for losses, plugging up holes. We talk about offensive MVP in the first half. Maybe I'll ask you about defensive MVP in the second half of the season, but Derek Badley is among the leading contenders for that. That one's interestingly even harder, I think, because the defense is just such a unit.
Yeah.
I mean, offensively at least, even
You
though
can
it's
look at
really
the
hard,
stats
you can
and-
kind of look at the
yeah.
stats and point out a few, but defensively the stats don't tell the whole story. Like, for example, Cam Fleming, the Virginia Tech commit, people rarely even throw at him.
Yeah.
So his stats aren't that much, a couple interceptions, but he locks down pretty much a whole side of the field. So it's hard, but I'm going to ask you anyway to think about it, and we'll revisit that. But
Right,
here we
yeah,
have
I really
third
think
and
now.
long, 3rd and 11. And if you're Potomac, you do not want to start this half with a 3 and out, but they are going to start this half with a 3 and out. Sacked by Cameron Walker. He's really come on as the season progressed. Didn't play much early, but now he's playing big minutes on special teams and on defense, and comes up with a big sack there.
He was the guy that had to cover for Derek Badley when as you think earlier in the season he would only play those 1 or 2 plays, and then Cameron Walker would come in for the 3rd and 4th, and they've seen how much he's progressed, and now he's one of the starters, and I think he's done a lot. This is a good friend of his. Like to see his progression on and off the field this year.
Absolutely. All right, not very long punt, although Brennan really fumbled it, and I think Potomac has it. They do. That's a big one. Number 15, Marcus Burrell, recovered, and I would just, Silvio, ask you to put a little star by that play. If Potomac were to come back and make a game of it, that is the play that changed it.
Yeah. That's definitely, I mean, the momentum booster. I mean, you have to look at their 3 and out they just had. That's toughing for the offense, tough for the defense. The defense has to come back on the field now, knowing their offense just got kind of crushed by the Trinity defense, and Potomac had to do the same thing now, but the Panthers will get another try with the possession with the ball here.
And we do see flags fly, and I believe it's going to be an offensive penalty.
I would agree with you.
Well, we're wrong. It's offsides. So 1st and 5, and yeah, I mean, so we had the interview with Coach Tyree, so we didn't fully get to do a reset as the second half began. But my thought was, for Potomac to have a chance, they need to get off to a great start in the second half, and then they have a 3 and out. They go backwards, but that fumble on the punt gives them life and gives them some hope, and see if they can take advantage. 1st and 5. It is caught for close to a first down. I can't tell if he got it, but
I think it was 9 yards, or maybe a little.
I think he's 1 yard short.
Yeah.
Remember, it was 1st and 5, so 4-yard catch. But it'll be 2nd and 1. Really, not even a full 1. 2nd and maybe half a yard.
This is the what Potomac needed. They needed these first downs to move down this field, and the game started heading in their direction a little. I think this would be a good segment to talk about. Well, you always like talking about handling the weather.
Yeah. That is incomplete. Good job by J-Dub, Jay Williams on the coverage there, as the intended receiver, Drew Turner, was not able to catch it, as well as Mario Thompson, who made, in my opinion, the biggest play of the game with the 92-yard interception return with 14 seconds left in the first half. But yeah, the weather, I know I usually do talk about that at the beginning, but it was very sunny in the first half, very warm for mid-November. Got to be 70, kind of humid as well, but the clouds are rolling in. I don't think they expect rain, but definitely not nearly as sunny as the first half. So it's 3rd and half a yard, and I don't think he got it. They tried to hand off to Drew Turner, but
they lost
once again, there's that man again. Derek Badley stops him for no gain. Also, Robbie Dunn was quick to get there. And on 4th and 1, of course, they're going to go for it here at the Titan 36. Potomac desperately needing some points to get back in this game. But it's going to be a sack. Elijah Rayner steps up with the sack, 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and the Titan defense is able to hold, and that fumble on the punt comes to nothing. And that's just a great example of picking up your teammates.
Exactly.
Brennan Ridley, who's had a fantastic season, made a bit of a mistake, fumbling a punt. He probably didn't even need to try and field. Potomac had great field position, but they end up again going 3 and out, and Elijah Rayner making the huge play. And Trey Ferguson's going to get it. What a block by Brennan Ridley. Trey Ferguson, though, steps out. We've got a couple guys down.
Flag on the play as well.
Yeah, so holding on the offense. We had a huge block. Brennan Ridley, that I believe that it was on E.J. Schneenberg, and he's down. You also have Matty Houston limping, and I have to admit that at the very beginning of that play, I was trying to check in on the other semifinal, so I didn't actually see how it started. But there was a lot going on that play, and ultimately it's just going to be a penalty and replay first down.
Yeah.
So since I brought it up, the other semifinal, Benedictine leads 14-0 late third quarter.
Yeah.
Against St. Christopher's. And it's going to be 1st and 20. I believe Matty Houston was the one called for holding, which may be why he was limping. Maybe he was trying to play it off, but he's back out there, so that's good news.
Yeah.
1st and 20, and that was a pretty big game by Trey Ferguson, but it's negated by the penalty. Isaiah Robinson makes a move, and he is gone.
The 10.
65 yards, Isaiah Robinson to the house. Silvio's offensive MVP putting it up, more stats. Taking Logan to Isaiah Robinson, 27-0, and the Titans are in dreamland.
Yeah. You got to give credit. I mean, that's a very interesting design play. You have 3 wide receiver closer to us, and you have Isaiah all alone on the far side. So you definitely expect to Titans to pick around the 3-guy area, and then Isaiah is able to find the opening, and let's see if JD can go 4 for 4 today.
And he does. JD Stemhagen, and technically, because the first play of that drive doesn't count because the penalty, that actually ends up being a 1-play drive for 65 yards. And that's, of the 4 touchdown drives, 2 of them have been 1 play, because the Trey Fergie run was also.
If you want to talk about Mario Thompson, I mean, that's technically
right.
That's technically a 1-play drive as well.
That's a good point, Silvio. So really, Trinity has 4 touchdowns, but only 1 has been a sustained drive, and the others, that was the drive where Trey Grant ran it, I think 5 of the 6 plays.
Yeah, 5, 6 plays.
But otherwise, it's just been quick strike, and it's tough on you when you're Potomac, because it sounds weird to say, like, they played very good defense to prevent those long sustained drives that we're used to seeing Trinity have. And yet, in 2.5 quarters, they've got 28 points against them. Devin Dunn fields the kickoff. What a tackle! Wow, is that James Woodward?
That is James Woodward.
Silvio, your boy. Big-time tackle. That's great to see. Also, I got to give an extra shout-out to James Woodward, because probably, I mentioned earlier, the win on Wednesday night for soccer at Collegiate was a top 3 TESPN moment in my rankings, but a top 5 moment was the quarterfinal shootout win against Woodbury Forest.
Oh, yeah.
And James Woodward, who's not officially a TESPN member, but he did us a huge favor. He got Joe Turkley, the hero of the shootout, and got him for a post-match interview that was a blast to talk to Joe. Once again, we're going to give a little more love to Coach Tyree for getting Joe ready for the shootout.
And he was well prepared.
But we wouldn't have had that interview without James Woodward. But what a hit he made there. They're going to try and test Cornell Allen, and Cornell is all over the coverage of Akeem Iskandari. Great job by Cornell Allen. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
And we've seen Potomac in this situation so much. It looks like we're in the 2nd and 10, 3rd to 10, where they both offenses have done a really good job, I think, as you stated, of stopping these long sustained drives. And I think Potomac tries to need to start breaking through and making these long sustained drives. They're able to do that. I think they're going to be able to put some good points on the board.
Yeah, this time it's a handoff to Gaskins. He picked up a little, maybe a yard. It was not a great snap, and the quarterback, Cameron Boykin, did well just to be able to haul that snap in. It almost went over his head, but he did secure it, handed off to Gaskins for a 1-yard gain. Did you see who the tackler was on that one?
Did not see who the tackler was.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either.
Got mesh right in front of our eyes, makes the gray on green numbers just a little difficult to read.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, it does.
It is a little tough, especially when it's on the far sideline. 3rd and 9. It is complete. It's going to be not enough for the first down, though, as the pass was caught by Jack Judd. Henry Caudle makes the tackle, and Henry's playing safety now with Zaire Rayner out for the game. And I don't see Zaire on the sideline either, so I think he may have headed off for x-rays. We just hope and pray that he'll be okay. And, and now Henry Caudle, the senior, has to step up. He's been a great servant for this program, a great special teams player. It's a fake punt, and there's Henry Caudle, not able to stop him short. We were just talking about Henry, and he had a chance to be a hero, but the fake punt works, and it's number 5, Andrew Lay. It was 4th and 3, and he picked up about 11. That almost was a must for the Panthers to have any chance of a comeback. And so gutsy call there by Coach C.J. Remo. But at this point, I guess you really have nothing to lose. First and 10. It's a sack. Robbie Dunn.
Robbie Dunn.
Key Nation, get ready. He'll be at VMI next year, but Robbie Dunn makes the sack, and Boykin looks to be a little bit shaken up after that as well.
Yeah, Robbie Dunn definitely got his arms right on him and definitely took him down pretty hard. Hopefully he is okay, though.
Yeah, looks like it. Again, I don't know. I always feel like I shouldn't speculate about injuries, but it's not a leg. It's like maybe his wrist or something in the upper body. But obviously, as a quarterback, that's hugely important. So we'll hope that Boykin is not seriously hurt. It was a heck of a rush by Robbie Dunn to get in there and ends up as a sack for a 5-yard loss. And Silvio, while we have a little bit of a break in the action, I'm going to put you on the spot again. You've seen a lot of these guys this year. For your offensive MVP, you went with Isaiah Robinson. You gave him a slight nod over Trey Grant and Devion Brown. How about defense, Silvio?
Defense, I'll do the 3 players again. I mean, I'm going to have to break it down in a couple areas, I think.
Hey, actually, before you say that, let me interrupt you. Because if any of the players go back and watch this, you are not allowed to get mad at Silvio. If you get mad at anybody, get mad at me. I'm putting him on the spot, and I'm making him make these choices.
So I'll break it down in a couple of different areas because, defense is a pretty widely coordinated thing. Derek Badley, he's had such a good year with just sacks overall. Zaire Rayner, we talked about a lot earlier, and he has just had such a provided game. And then we're going to have to go with his older brother, Elijah Rayner. It's he's another really good linebacker on the D-line. I'll put in Hunter Brooks in there, too. I think he's had such a good game. My God, there's so many.
Yeah.
But out of those 4, I'm going to have to give it to Elijah Rayner. I think Elijah Rayner has just provided so much throughout his career, but last year, but especially this year. I think he's improved, and he's had to take in a much more leadership role on the team, and it seems that he does that a lot. And I think when people mess up, he's always there to cheer them up, and he's always providing big plays right there.
There's Robbie Dunn again with another sack, and he is feeling it. And that was the backup quarterback, Drew Turner. It was a designed run. I don't think he was trying to throw, but I think you would still call it a sack if you throw the quarterback for a loss. So that's about another 7-yard loss. It'll be 3rd and 22. And if I ask you who's the MVP of this drive defensively, it would definitely be Robbie Dunn.
For sure. No, but a little upsetting for Potomac there with Boykin out. They're going to have to turn to Turner, the secondary quarterback. And we've seen Turner provide a lot of different roles on defense as well as being a receiver for offense. So they're going to have to pull out some of their secondaries to provide that coverage that Turner was doing.
All right, Marcel Gaskins, he is able to pick up 6 yards there, but it was 4th and 22, so they're going to have to punt, and I don't expect it to be a fake this time. And I think if Brennan Ridley tries to return this, I'm going to call for a touchdown. I think he's going to want to make up for that fumble. If he gets a chance to bring it back, but he won't get that chance. It's kind of a bold call there by me, but I just felt like if Brennan got his hands on it, he was going to do some damage. But it's a great punt.
Yeah.
It rolls all the way inside the 14-yard line. That ends up being about a 51-yard punt with no return. So great job there by the punter. Is it Stephon Harvey, I think, for Potomac?
Jack Judd was the punting at the beginning of the game.
Jack Judd, my bad. I got my 6 and 9 messed up. Any Jimi Hendrix fans out there? If 6 was 9, one of the all-time great classic rock songs.
You got to talk to Mr. Knuckles there. I mean,
yeah, Probably not the right audience for that reference, but all right. Titan ball, 1st and 10 at their own 14 after the excellent punt by Jack Judd. It's a throw. Tegan Logan connects with AK Key. AK
Number
is
4?
back.
AK?
His first action of the year. Unfortunately, there's a flag, and I think it's coming back for ineligible man downfield. But the big story on that play, AK Key, who had an ACL tear last winter. It was after the season. He had a huge role in last year's state championship team. And then I think he was playing like 7-on-7 football. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I knew it was late enough in the winter that it was always going to be a long shot for him to see the field again. So
I think he's definitely one of the underrated players on the big senior roster we have.
absolutely, AK is a fantastic player. I'm so glad to see him back out there. Oh my gosh.
Davion through.
Devion Brown
speed.
is going to take
30,
it 90 yards for the touchdown. Devion Brown still got a great student section, and that was a good chance for the first ever Pitaway leap, but Devion instead gives a high five to some other assembled folks, maybe some of the alums down there. 90 yards. I guess, you know what, Silvio, technically that's another one-play drive.
Yeah.
So the quick strike offense strikes again, and Tegan Logan, you know, despite he hasn't thrown it that many times, but with these, a 65-yarder to Isaiah Robinson, a 90-yarder to Devion Brown, plus a few others here and there, he's got to be over 200 yards, I would think.
Talking about Leaps at City Stadium when the boys did win against Collegiate, saw a couple of them guys jump into the student section.
Yeah.
City Stadium Leaps haven't really had seen the pit away, but we.
Yeah. I think it would be a lot of fun, but maybe
I don't think
maybe
Miss
they can
Joe
save
would
that
like
for
it.
next week. But just a lot of positives there. Devion Brown shakes off a tackle or two and takes it all the way. And I cannot tell you how happy I am to see AK Key back on the field. I was really worried we'd never get to see him play for Trinity again.
Yeah.
So he got a reception. It would have been a gain of about 10. It's not going to go into the stat sheet because of the penalty, but it's just awesome to see. And hopefully he'll have a chance to play a little more. We're still in the third quarter today, and I think it's pretty safe to say that these Titans will be posting next week.
20-0.
And it is now 20-0 Benedictine. And they just recovered an onside kick. So it's shaping up to be a rematch of last year's title game.
I leave credit to JD Stimhagen going 5 for 5 so far with all of his kicks. I don't think we mentioned his name when you made that, but really a nice kick from him.
Well, we've talked about offensive MVP and a defensive MVP, and if we were going to do a special teams MVP, JD Stimhagen's got to be up there, right, Silvio?
Yeah, but I think I'd be a little biased. No, I don't think I could be able to give a correct one. I'd have to go with James Woodward. I love him too much.
Your buddy James Woodward, also Cameron Walker.
Oh, yeah, Cameron Walker.
Henry Caudle,
I think
and
Jay Williams deserves a shout-out on special teams.
Jay Williams, and I was going to also say Taylor Benson is a big special teams guy. We've seen Brennan Ridley, Devion Brown, and Trey Ferguson in punt and kickoff returns.
Yeah.
So even our special teams is pretty awesome this year. So unfortunately for Potomac, the starting quarterback Boykin remains out, and they have Drew Turner, who is a running threat, but I don't believe we've seen Drew throw it yet, and it's just so hard to run on this Titan defense. Elijah Rayner, your defensive MVP, he's had a fantastic game today, makes another tackle after a gain by Turner of 3 yards. Fumble. The Panthers recover. Gaskins was able to jump on it, but it's still going to end up being a loss of,
A yard there.
yeah,
Maybe
it's a
2.
loss of about 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to make it 3rd and 10.
Little high snap there. That's what caused Turner not to be able to get that one in his hands correctly, and he sadly dropped that. Minute 15 left in the 3rd quarter here.
All right, 3rd and 11. We'll see if Turner puts it up. No, he's still going to run, and there's just nowhere for him to go. And it'll be 4th down. So, Sylvia, we talked in the first quarter, I talked a bit about the anatomy of an upset. When you're the underdog, all the things that have to go your way. And for a quarter, Potomac had everything going their way.
Yeah,
but
first quarter was
from early in the second quarter, the Titans seized control. They had that drive with a bunch of Trey Grant runs. And once they took the lead, there was no looking back. And Potomac is going to try and take as much time as possible. Oh, nearly a punt block by Talik Montgomery as he got in the backfield. But once again, no attempt for Brennan Ridley to return, and it'll roll down to the 31, and also in the 3rd quarter. So we'll head to the 4th quarter of play. Trinity Episcopal 35, Potomac 0, and the Titans are 1 quarter away from an opportunity to play for and defend a state championship.
I think you just said, the anatomy of an upset, and I think Potomac was looking really strong with your theory there. I think their first quarter, they had one of the best quarters that I think we've seen any offense and or defense play against the Titans, and I got to give them a lot of credit for that. But I think after Titans were able to pick up momentum second quarter and then late second quarter, shut down any chance at Potomac's momentum with Mario Thompson's 92-yard interception to pick 6. That kind of shut down the momentum, and third quarter was no different.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is going to be Tegan Logan. I was a little curious if they would make a QB change just with a 35-point lead, and obviously you want to keep Tegan healthy, but they do make a running back change as we see TJ DiLoretto. And sometimes we talk about, and I like stats. I'm kind of a stats guy in a lot of ways, but sometimes stats can lie. And I think the time of possession today has got to be way in Potomac's favor. Like in the third quarter, Trinity barely touched the ball, and yet they scored 14 points because they got it like twice and scored immediately, on the first play both times. And the reason I said that is because I realized I don't think Trey Grant has touched it in the second half.
He is not. That is true.
Because they only had 2 offensive plays in the second half. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's weird to think about because a lot of times you think, time of possession is going to lead to victory, but not when the team can score as quickly as the Titans. So, and I would imagine Trey Grant is probably done for the day as we see TJ DiLoretto late. Flag came in there, and it's going to be unsportsmanlike against the Titans.
Even
Coach Mickens is not happy about that.
You've seen some O-line changes as well. Carlos Moore.
Yeah, Carlos Moore coming out, and is that big ninth grader Brady Sekowitz coming in?
Yeah, as well as Cooper Gardner taking a quick break. Not sure who's covering his position.
Ben Blair, maybe?
Yeah, probably most likely.
This flag is going to be offsides on the defense as we see Tegan Logan go with a hard count. I bet I know what that reminds you of, the Taking Logan
Yeah.
hard count leading to offsides.
Collegiate last year, I just mean, so what? Backup quarterback had to be caught at
was
least 4 or
like-
5 times in a
Yeah,
row.
I feel like I was going to say I thought it was 7 times that he got
It
them
was
on that.
insane.
It was really amazing. Great throw by Tegan Logan and a rare drop by Trey Ferguson. I'm sure he would like to have that one back as Tegan put it right in stride. And, you know, this is Trey Ferguson's first game in about a month after a high ankle sprain. And you can even see a little bit, just a littlest of a limp from Trey. That also might be one of those where you drop it and all of a sudden that pain in your ankle comes back that hadn't been there. But Trey had a huge 40-yard touchdown run actually out of the backfield. We got, I think, Mason Love coming in late for special teams. A good punt by Huey Stone. And with that bounce, it's going to really be a great punt. So he took it from the 25. It's down all the way at the 28 of Potomac. That's about a 47-yard punt with no return. So
Definitely really good one from his first attempt that he had earlier in the first quarter.
yeah, Huey hadn't had many opportunities to punt today, but when he has, he's done well. And really happy for him. He's a hard worker. I can't wait to see him on the basketball court this winter. He's just a 9th grader, so maybe we'll be on JV, but I know I teach him, and we talk about hoops pretty much every day. Timeout Titans. I think there was a little bit of confusion on the personnel there, and with no real pressing need to save those timeouts for later, Coach Miggins is going to go ahead and get his lineup straight. And
I definitely know Coach Brainer definitely wants to fight for a shutout. They've only had one this season. So definitely know he'd love another one.
yeah, Coach Rayner every week wants a shutout, and they've had plenty where they've held the opponents in single digits. St. Chris leaps to mind. We scored at the very end to get to 7. Benedictine leaps to mind. Norfolk Academy was a single digits, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it for us. Yeah, so all those I just mentioned scored 7. Also, St. Michael the Archangel only scored 7. Fuma was the one shutout. Episcopal just 10. So really, other than Woodbury scoring 28, Titan defense has been pretty amazing. And even that was kind of okay since we scored 35.
Yeah.
Or 55, I mean,
55.
55. High snap again, but Turner is able to corral it and give it to Gaskins. And I think both teams probably just want to see this clock run.
Tackle made by Trinity Davis Elliott.
This running play picks up just 1 yard.
1 yard gain on the play. Tackle made by Cameron Walker.
Cameron Walker with yet another tackle. He's had a fantastic game.
I see numbers of Bryden Kelly, Bowen Knight coming out.
3rd down. Gaskins will run again. He's going to get a first down and quite a bit more, but I think he stepped out of bounds. Still a big gain for Potomac. But if he hadn't stepped out of bounds, it was going to be quite a foot race
Between
to see if he could get to the end zone. I don't think he would have gotten there, but Actually, he stepped out way further back than I realized, so all the way back at midfield. Clock's going to roll under 7 minutes to go. Once again, it's Marcel Gaskins, and he's had a great game. He's really impressed me with his cutting, his vision, his speed. And
very shifty, very small. I mean, and I think as you said, he's got a lot of speed under his belt.
Yeah, so they're going to be getting a good one in Annapolis next year when Marcel Gaskins gets there. And, of course, our guy, Trey Fergie. Look forward to following their careers at the next level. This time it's a little bootleg, but a great job by James Woodward. Off the initial fake, I thought that might go for big yards for Drew Turner, but Woody came up and was able to stop him for only a 1 yard gain. That is Silvio's special teams performer of the year. Maybe not even one, actually. So
I think he stopped him completely.
Yeah, I thought he at least got 1 yard, but it's right back at the line of scrimmage. And it's Gaskins again, and it's another first down.
One of the longer drives that we see Potomac having. They have a very nice.
Talik Montgomery was one of the tacklers there. I think he also, as Cameron Walker goes down, I think it's a cramp for Cameron. Hope it's just a cramp.
I hope it is. Isn't the same thing that happened to him earlier in the game?
Silvio, can you pull that roster up for me again real quick? Just we got a lot of guys that don't normally start. So Mason and Miles Love were both in. I think they were near the tackle, and
32. Oh, that is Bowen Knight.
I think Bowen Knight as well. Sorry, I said Bowen was 13. All right, so that was another first down for Gaskins. He's picked up a couple first downs this drive. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 38. Gaskins again, and it's going to be his final high school game, but he is really leaving it all out there on the field, playing great. And, oh, no, it looks like we actually have an injury.
It's not good.
All right, so we're going to have an injury timeout here. And unfortunately, obviously any injury is unfortunate, but I think it's Gaskins who we were just talking about what a great game he's been having. Has the other game gone final yet? 1 minute left. Still. All right, so with 1 minute left over at the Abbey, Benedictine still with a 20-0 lead over St. Christopher's. So it's going to set up a rematch of last year's state title game, one of the most epic, exciting sporting events I've ever seen, not just high school, at any level, in any sport. Went to overtime. Titans tried to give it away at the end of regulation, somehow able to manage to get the win with the 2-point conversion in overtime. And we're going to see these teams meet again right here at Aycock Stadium. Yeah. Next week it's going to be a 1 o'clock start. So we'll, of course, be broadcasting it for those who can't make it, but we hope that any and all Trinity fans that are at all able to make it will be here at Aycock Stadium next week, and we see Marcel Gaskins, the star running back for Potomac, being helped off the field in his final game, and just hope that's nothing serious. Looks like he's having a little trouble in the ankle, but he's certainly gone out with an excellent final game. But yeah, Silvio, how psyched are we for next Saturday?
Very psyched. I think everyone's pretty excited about the football game Monday, and then we get a treat for Saturday soccer game Monday.
No, I mean, in most of the world, you described it accurately.
And then we get the other football game Saturday between rivalry last year, and I know there's just a lot of banner between the Titans and the Cadets. A good run there.
Yeah, really nice run there by Nicholas Webster, another one of the seniors for Potomac, as he gained 10 yards and another first down. Just think about when in 2004 when Dr. Aycock made the move to bring football back to Trinity after over a decade with us not even having a team. And I think all of us who love our school dreamed of days like today, but especially days like what we're going to see next Saturday.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling, as once again Webster with another strong run, and give that young man a lot of credit that he is fighting till the very end, and two excellent runs in a row as Nicholas Webster has been difficult to bring down. But just, I was about to say, I suspect that it'll be a lot cooler weather-wise than it is today.
Yeah,
I think
should be next week.
I think next week a lot chillier weather comes in. Probably be more kind of what you might think of stereotypical football weather. And I just cannot wait for this campus to host a state championship football game again. As Turner keeps, he's going to be marked as having gotten the first down, brought down at the 18. So Potomac with 3 first downs on this drive, and they're, I'm sure, desperately wanting to get on the scoreboard here as their season will come to a close. But a great season for the Potomac Panthers as champions of the MAC, a conference that encompasses schools from Maryland, Washington, D.C., as well as Virginia. Turner this time is not able to pick up any yardage. I think Davis Elliott and I think Marcus Johnson was in the backfield as well.
Yeah. And that will wrap up and confirm that next Saturday will be Trinity versus Benedictine, as that game just finished up. And as the St. Chris Benedictine just finished up over at Benedictine with a Benedictine victory.
Good job there, as it was Bowen Knight coming off the edge, making a big tackle, and great to see Bowen getting his name on the stat sheet. A junior.
Yeah, a great classmate of mine.
Yeah, great classmate of yours, great student.
Yeah, very academically strong.
Yep, taught him last year. Awesome guy. And he's a guy that I would think with this defense has a lot of seniors. I would think Bowen is going to have a big role to play next year.
Yeah.
The throw is intercepted, and that is it Woody?
I hope it's Woody. I really can't read his number.
Can't read the number. It's 22. It's Henry Caudle.
22.
Henry Caudle with the interception, and he is another one of these just great, the kind of guys you need to have a great program. It is Woody.
Oh, it is Woodward.
James Woodward.
That is my bad completely. Everyone here thought it was James Woodward. I boldly declared it was Henry Caudle. The PA said it was Henry Caudle on my bad advice, and you know what? It's my bad. I feel like played a clean game till the end, but made a mistake there. But look, even Trey Grant fumbled, so no one's perfect. But and that, I think, will do it. I don't even think the Titans need to get off a snap. And so your final score will be Trinity Episcopal 35, Potomac School 0. Coach Rayner and the defense get their shutout. Had a great crowd today. We had great weather, great student section. I saw a bunch of alums. Hey, shout out, I saw Zane Lewis here, who was a state champion football player here back on the 2014 and 15 teams, who's with the New York Jets right now. Zane is back as he works back through an injury, so it's great to see him. I saw Quentin Wingo, who set the school record for single-season rushing yards. I think he had over 300 in a game back when he played here, another class of 2016 guy. So shout out to those guys. But Silvio, what first quarter was not perfect, but the second, third, and fourth quarter, it's all Titans.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I mean, I'm excited for next Saturday. I think it'll be a rematch. Cadets versus Titans back here. We're going to do it again. I mean, super very excited. I think a lot of the boys are excited. Definitely hope we see Zaire Rayner A-OK, and I hope he sees a speedy recovery, and I hope that everyone, I know all the guys got to put their all into hopefully taking down the Cadets again.
Do you have a player of the game for you?
I'm going to go with, I'll do a defensive Cameron Walker. I think not one of the star players, but I think some of his sacks that he provided, stopping the momentum, was just insane. And then offensive, give it to Isaiah Robinson. I gave him the MVP earlier for regular season, but I think today he had a very, very good game with his touchdown and some of his amazing catches he was able to produce.
Yeah, and that touchdown by Isaiah was kind of the backbreaker. I'm going to go with Mario Thompson. I think his 92-yard touchdown interception return was the key play of the game. He also had a bunch of tackles, and really nice to see a standing O from the Potomac fans for their team on a great season. I like to see that a lot. So I go with Mario Thompson on defense. J.D. Stemhagen, 5 for 5 on extra points. We'll give him the special teams player of the game. And offensively, it's tough. Can't go with Trey Grant because the fumble. I'm gonna say Devion Brown. I mean, just only because Isaiah, you know, he had a 65-yard touchdown, but Fat Rat had a 90-yarder. So I'm gonna give him the edge on that. But it was a really good all-around performance from the Titans for sure. Yeah. All right, well, just a couple final notes before we leave, just in terms of TESPN programming. We will be there Monday for the soccer state championship as the Titans face St. Christopher's.
City Stadium.
At City Stadium. Hope everybody can be there in person, but if you can't, we'll have the broadcast. Be on the lookout for a podcast this week that'll have some student-athlete interviews. We'll try and get some of the football guys and do a little preview of that game and maybe get some soccer guys as well, especially if they're able to win. And then next Saturday, for what will be our final broadcast of the fall athletic season, we will be here 1 o'clock, Benedictine at Trinity. What more could you ask for as a high school sports fan? Cannot wait for that. Until our next broadcast on Monday, farewell. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.